Welcome to the followers and viewers of Virgins. Thanks so much for joining us today on Vantage Live. We are so glad you're taking time out today to join us. Today we have a very special guest joining us all the way from Australia, Melbourne. He's my friend. I'm happy to say he's my friend. And he's a very interesting person with a very unique background. His name is Thilina Chandrapala. He is a world champion pro athlete in natural bodybuilding. He's won many medals and many of them representing Sri Lanka itself. He's currently an online coach and he's the CEO of Team Empire. He's also the president of ICN Sri Lanka. ICN is an international federation in natural bodybuilding, and he's the president of the Sri Lankan chapter. So welcome, Thilina. How's it going?
Been good. I'm excited for this. So yeah, I've been waiting for this for a week and looking forward to share my story right here.
Thanks for joining, Thilina. Thanks for joining. So how does it feel to be where you are right now, winning world championship medals, coaching people across the world? You're going to competitions all over the world, and you are the CEO of your own company. How does it feel to be where you are?
To be honest, it feels great because this is what I wanted. Even when I first met you, in 2010 or 29 period, back then also this was my dream. So basically, this is where I wanted to be, and feeling great. I doing what I love every day, and yeah, nothing else comes better than that.
Wow, that's great to hear. Yeah, that's right. You've come quite a long way from when I knew you back in 2010. We knew each other when we were in college back in La Trobe, Melbourne, the good old college days. And yeah, you were quite a different guy back then, right? I don't know if you mind me telling to our audience, you were quite the party boy.
Yeah,
What would you say?
Yeah, so basically one of the reasons why I'm great at what I'm doing with regards to coaching, when you see my results of my clients, is because of the experience I went through back then, in 2010. So when I deal with clients who are in that age, I know what they are doing. Whenever they do things, I understand the mentality, the mindset and everything, because I see myself in them 10 years ago. And what I do right now is just changing them, transforming them into becoming a better version. So it took me some hard routes in 2010 to 2016 to becoming a natural bodybuilder, or from 17, from being a skinny kid under 50 kilos, in school, who was pushed around a lot, and for being a natural bodybuilder, and now being the president of ICN Sri Lanka, which is the chapter of natural bodybuilding for Sri Lanka. Yeah, being the president and also being a head coach, transforming people, helping them becoming their best version. It feels great, and it's been an amazing journey, and I'm looking forward to do more, because that's what I've been doing. And in pandemic, we've had some difficult times, but when you have a passion towards getting somewhere, as long as you have your eyes on the road, you will actually get there no matter what. So that's what I did. I always believe, in any situation, it's about the way you look at things. One person can look at a situation as a problem, the other person can always look at the solution all the time. So what I did 2 years ago, when it came to the pandemic, was the fact that I wanted to focus on the solution, because most of the people make this mistake. I told you this once, I guess. They focus on the problem all the time just to get attention. So that's not going to lead you anywhere. So you probably understand from what you do as well, is the fact that you need to always focus on the solution.
Yeah, I can see you're very passionate about what you do. I can see that, you're very focused on helping people, and that's an amazing place to be. So before we go to where you are now, I'd love to visit. How did you get here? Like you mentioned, when we knew each other in Australia back in, back in 2010, you're quite the different person. First of all, you didn't physically have an amazing body and a full of muscles like you have right now. And even you were very playful, having a good time. We'd meet each other at the Eagle Bar, which is the local uni bar. So how did you go from being that person to where you are now? What changed?
So the change was this. So basically, one of the things I realized few years later, like after I think like you left in 2011, I guess, so 2012 or 2011. So basically, one of the things I realized was like that wasn't actually me. Like that wasn't my true identity. That was actually based on me trying to, like, I would say, like in my language, like I would say, like trying to be cool around my own gang. So I did things which I wasn't actually me. So drinking in the weekends and partying was not actually my passion. I wanted to do something great. So that's where I actually wanted to go. So when I actually see clients coming to me and like saying the same thing, like they say like you may meet friends and I want to go out and do all these things, I understand the mindset of some of them, because I see
Right.
myself, like I said, because back in the day, like I also had this like problem where I wasn't actually able to like talk in front of like anywhere. Like right now I'm doing a live, and I do lives like every week for my business, and I talk to my clients all the time, and I wasn't in a place where I could have become an example for the rest of the world. So I wanted to be a person, like be an example. So if the people around me wasn't actually supportive, like the things I had to do back then was actually changing that. So because at the end of the day, you only live once and you got to make it count, and you got to do what you love. And in order, if the people around you or the circle around you is not going to give you a positive influence or a positive feedback, you got to change things. That's the right way to go. It's a hard choice to make some for some people, but for me, like I had to do my best, because I believe like I had the capability to like impact other people's lives, because I got inspired from so many people. Rocky was one. You know why?
Yeah.
You know why? You
I
know that
remember
pretty
you
much.
were a big fan of Rocky back when we were in uni
Still
as
am,
well.
like still am. I love Rocky. So I still like, it's all about like how hard, how it's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. So I had a lot of hits, like lots of ups and downs. I mean, basically what I realized was like I wasn't, even though like I was actually partying and all of those things, I wasn't actually doing what I'm supposed to do. And I realized at one point that this was not me. I could do much better than this,
So let me
because
ask you, what triggered that change? You said you came to a realization. How
yeah.
did you come to that moment?
The reason being, like, I realized that the reason why I was actually doing the things I wanted to do, doing the things I was doing back then, was basically was pure pressure most of the time. And the fact that like I was a person who was shy, like not able to like socialize or like talk in front of people, drinking or partying actually made it like easier, like because you
Right,
loosen up. And
right,
that's
right.
actually the reason why I actually did it, like being totally honest, like totally being open up. One point I realized that, man, if I ever get out of this, like if I ever become the imagination I have in my head one day, which is where I'm at right now, and I would actually help the rest of the world, like with it, like the time I'm going to be living. So that's where I came from. That's what triggered me, because I believe like whenever I actually stopped partying, like or drinking, or like a month or something like that, my body started changing rapidly. um, I hear a lot of motivational stories and all of those things on a daily basis to get my mindset right. So I'll just tell you one thing, like when you actually tell somebody's inspiring story, like say Edison and Tesla, right? So some one person might say like what Edison said is like he tried 999 times, and the 1000th time, like the light bulb switched. The light bulb started coming, right? That's what happened. That's the story. But another person would say he stole Tesla something and like he did this.
That's
But
right.
that's not the meaning I get when I actually like listen to these things. I take this meaning. He tried so many times and
Right.
he didn't give up, and he ended up achieving it. That's the
So,
meaning I get out of
right.
every situation.
So
I
what you're
don't go
saying is
in.
now you come to a place where now you've learned to look at the positives in any situation. You're trying to see how can
Yes,
I learn from this so I can
yes.
keep moving.
Yes, that's what I actually teach people to do. Like that's what people should do in this world in order to make it a better place. Because when you actually listen to the good things, like the positive aspects of every story, it'll actually change your life. Not gonna change like within a day or two. It's gonna, with time, consistently doing the same thing over and over again, it'll actually make sense one day. Because when I first started when I started building my body when I was 25, like properly, like without drinking, cutting down alcohol and everything, one of the things I started seeing was like people said like it's crazier for when I was actually posing in front of the camera, in front of the mirror, like a lot of times. There was no such thing as natural bodybuilding back in that time. I did not know it existed, and people thought I was crazy doing it, like doing the posing and everything, like showing off my body and trying it, and people thought I was crazy. And when I was actually measuring food to eat, like how to measure my calories and doing those things, people still thought I was crazy to do that. But now I have people doing that, like getting advices from me, like how to follow it. So I turned tables within 5 years. So
So
now,
I'm
like,
going to pause you there. You mentioned something a lot of us don't know. Like I personally didn't know what natural bodybuilding was until you told me about it. Why
say
did
like
you choose natural bodybuilding? Let me put it that way.
because yeah, because I believed like that's the right way for me, because I wanted to like keep doing it that way, because I could have done it easily, but that was not me. Because back in the day, like I said, like I was actually drinking or like doing all those things, like partying was based on pure pressure most of the time. You need to do it on your own terms, do what makes you happy. That's what I believe. When it came to natural bodybuilding, was something I started in 2016, like as an accident, and ended up winning my first show in 2016, and ended up winning for the next 5 months. And then like in the fifth month, I did my seventh show and I ended up winning that, and I got my pro card. And I also announced the state champion of Victoria. So that's how I became my journey as a pro athlete.
I just want to bring attention. You have been a state champion of the state of Victoria in Australia. You've also won medals in Italy and a few other countries. What's that like representing, the country and going to all these places? How does that feel?
It feels amazing because one thing was the fact that till 2017, like we initiated IC in Sri Lanka in 2018.
What does it stand for again?
I compete natural.
I Compete Natural, and it's an international federation all over the world. And you are the president of ICN Sri Lanka, correct?
Yes. And
Right.
what happened was in 2018, I did a world championship competition and in Gold Coast. And I actually asked for permission whether I can actually go ahead as IC in Sri Lanka separately. They actually loved the idea and they wanted to like um, make me the president of IC in Sri Lanka. And what we had was our first competition. That's another story. Like into 2018, as I remember, was 8 months away. Like the competition was in Italy, like Rimini. And at the time, like financially, like for a natural bodybuilder or any bodybuilder, you don't have for till this day I have not had any sponsors, like
Right.
because that's why I actually made our motto IC in Sri Lanka as build a body, build a life. Because as a bodybuilder, you see the person building a body only. You might see them prepping meals, you might see them just doing exercises in the gym, like it might looks good, it looks inspiring, but nobody understands the financial struggles we go through. That's where like you build your life in it. So 8 months away to Italy, like that was actually a massive, like expensive journey. Like, but that's not the way we actually thought in it. We thought about it as a opportunity to grow. And that's how I actually started Team Empire. And
so tell us
every
a
day
little bit more about Team Empire. I don't think a lot, I'd love for our audience to hear what that's about.
So Team Empire is an online coaching business, and we do one of the things we do is virtual coaching. That's something we started in 2020 when the pandemic first happened. So we actually were people like who had, it was actually, I started it like when I started getting clients, and I was actually like helping people to transform. And I don't think like many would do this sacrifice. This is something many did not see. So my work schedule was pretty much like midnight to 6 in the morning, and then doing one-on-one coaching at another gym. And I was actually like doing my training and doing my steps, doing what is necessary for the prep from 10 p.m. till like next day 4 p.m. So I slept during the day. And one of the things we did was I actually outsourced some coaches, and that was actually Angie and Ashan. And Ashan was actually living in Sri Lanka, and Angie was a person, another coach who she lives in. She was actually in the cabin crew. So one of the things we realized was it's not about doing the one-on-one session which will actually transform the clients, because one-on-one session only lasts in that hour. You need to take care of them for the next 23 hours, because you will be there as an online coach for them to like kill them or do everything. But if you are not accountable for the next 23 hours, that's where we actually used online coaching, because we had a 24/7 WhatsApp service back in the time, still do. And we were actually communicating, like helping them, because they saw how hard we were working, our clients back in the day, like how hard we were working in order to get to our best shape. And it made it easier for us to advise on how others should do. And that way Team Empire started building, and like we had clients like who's been transformed and like still with us for the past 3 years. We actually made our slogan as story beyond pictures, because every transformation you see just the pictures, like you see like one person being fat, the other person being like other side being healthy and like better version, but nobody knows the struggle they go through.
Right.
Nobody knows the story. That's where our brand came in, where we actually wanted to tell the story which they go through. Like there are people
Right.
who goes through lots of struggles, because like most of the time like people struggle with mental aspects.
Right.
That's something
Right.
don't people take it lightly.
Yeah.
Sometimes all it takes is for us to speak to them for 3 minutes, and that'll last them for the next 3 months to like become the best version of their lives. We wanted to make a hard impact, and people did not know, we did not have many followers or anything, but we did our job, and we ended up like having a lot of clients, because today like I am running a business from here, like in my office at home.
In
And
Melbourne.
I never worked in office in my life. And I have coaches outsourced from Sri Lanka, like who's doing virtual coaching. That's what happened to me, and that's what actually got me building Team Empire. And now it's actually like global, and we have transformed over thousands of people all around the world.
You know, it's fantastic what you guys do. I follow you on social media, so I do see some of your videos, pictures, some of the stories, some of the transformations. And you're absolutely right, there's so much behind the picture that a lot of people don't know. Until you hear the story, then you understand their struggles. What are some of the struggles that you had when you started this journey?
One of the struggles, to be honest, would be the fact that I actually always was a person who actually worried what others were thinking about me. And that's something like many actually still go through. Like I've seen adults doing that. It's actually something you need to understand is like you can't actually live your life based on other people. And
Right.
if I ever like told people that I wanted to become an online coach when online coaching didn't exist, people would have laughed, right? So the mistake I did was basically like worrying, like initially, like worrying about what others were thinking about me, and like that way, like I had like doubts about myself. People will say like you are not getting the results. What are you doing this for? Like, is it worth it? Is it a mental disorder or something like that? Whenever I was posing like in front of the mirror, like people thought like I was having a disorder, but
Oh,
yeah,
right, right.
things like
So
that.
when you are posing and taking pictures, it's for your business, it's for you trying to get a career path and into these
Yeah.
competitions, but you felt people were judging you.
Yeah, but back in the day when I was doing it, I did not know why I was doing it, because even I did not know I was going to become a natural bodybuilder back in the day. That is something which happened to me, and but I always wanted to become a coach. Like I wanted to become an inspiration for another person. But at the time, I did not know anything about natural bodybuilding, which existed or anything. So I thought like I was not at that level or anything, because I did not have the belief in myself. When you get negative feedbacks from the people around you, like on a constant basis for what you are doing or like things like that, when you have people like around you who always worries like what others are thinking, because of that, like you are not allowed to do the things because of what they do. Like one of the things I realized was the reason why people give you negative feedbacks was because of their own insecurities,
Oh,
not, and they are just not happy with their life, and that makes them insecure about them, and that way like they will actually put other people down. That's the way sometimes people work, and that's not right. So that's what I am here to change. When it comes to dealing like changing lives of my clients, then that's one of the things I do. So I teach them that it's supposed to be like your journey. You should not worry about everything what everyone else is thinking.
Right,
What you
right.
need to do is like you need to be fulfilled with what you do.
That's right.
Because
So, how did you overcome that? It sounds like it was a challenge for you. Maybe you can share how did you overcome that challenge?
so basically, like one of the things what I did was basically in 2013, I actually changed the group of people I was with, and that way I actually managed to have a different like group of people who were actually supportive for me. So for my journey, so that actually made an impact on like my life in order to become better.
That
So
must have
that
been
way
a
I
tough
realized,
decision.
not really, like when I actually realized that this is something I need to do, like in order for my life to be better. So it's at the end of the day, if I'm capable of making an impact on someone else's life or making someone else's life better, when you have so much potential, why do you actually like worry about the sacrifice you're supposed to be making? Because you're having so much potential, and being with a circle which is going to give you negative feedback isn't going to help you. Why do you want to like stay down when you can go like up? So that's one thing I did. So initially I would say like it was hard, but like later on I realized that was the best decision I made in order for my life to be better.
Right, right, right. You said the words discipline, you know. What tips can you give us, and our audience, of how to become more disciplined?
So you need to love yourself, and if you love yourself and if you know truly what you need to be, just have a vision in it. Like when I started going to the gym initially, it was actually for that kid when I was actually 17, who was actually skinny, weak, lacked confidence. That if you have seen that ad where there's a model in gold perfume or something like long time back, and that person had abs, and one day I wanted, like, I had in my mind that one day I wanted to have that. What would it be like? What does it take? Like, because I had an imagination that one day I will become this person, and it will go through a place where you will get like negative feedbacks, people will have doubts, and all of these things will happen. People will say like your food is boring, and all of that, all of those things will happen. These are like the ways, like people will need to take it as an inspiration. Like this is something like people should not take it as as a negative feedback, but they should take it as a positive thing. That's my life. So here I am today, like I'm doing this, like I won medals and transform other people, because why I wanted to become a coach and was to make sure like what I went through, I wanted to give it back someday. And that's where I actually became a coach, and that's where I wanted to transform people and consistently have a reason to why you want to go through it.
So what you're saying is, number one, you got to love yourself. Number two, you got to have a visual of what you want to be. And you said something very important. You said you have to have a reason. Why? Why do you want to achieve that? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes, because this is December, and January people will have a New Year's resolution. But one thing they lack in that New Year's resolution is they don't know the reason why they want to have that resolution, right? Many people will say they want to lose weight, they want to like become healthy, but they don't know the reason why they want to do that. Because when you have your reason, when you have your why, you will have your in your head that whenever you have a breakdown, whenever, because life is like a ECG report. It goes like this. It doesn't go like this. If it goes like this, you will die, right? So it's a road. It's a journey of going ups and downs, ups and downs. Because as I remember, like because during those times where you actually struggle, like you will listen. One of the things I did was listening to a lot of inspirational stories. One of my favorites were like Steve Jobs saying like life will hit you in the head with bricks some days, but you can't lose faith. So when you are having a purpose which is in the right direction, and when you have a reason to go ahead and become your better version, nothing will ever stop you. So when you have those three things which I mentioned, when you have a vision and when you have a reason to it, you will actually get there slowly and steadily. Because whenever you have days where you actually don't feel like doing it, you will drag your ass to get there. Because that's what I did in my journey. Because there were days when I was actually working full time and doing bodybuilding and studying as a student as well, and it was difficult. And I'm not going to say it was easy. Like coming to Australia was a difficult choice. Like if I stayed in Sri Lanka, like there will be like people to like do my cooking. There will be, I wouldn't have known how to cook food. I wouldn't have known how to do my laundry. I wouldn't have known how to become responsible, like to be honest. So one of the things I did was like becoming responsible for those things. That's way like I actually ended up becoming different. So that's actually one of the best things which has happened to me.
What are some practical ways a person can get more disciplined?
Mhm. All right. So in my journey, one of the things right now I do is like doing like having my getting my mindset right every day in
What do
order
you
to
mean
serve
by
people.
that?
So basically, one of the things I do is like I don't use the phone in the morning when I wake up. That's number one. So that small things will go a long way, like drinking a glass of water in the morning rather than doing something else. So when you do those things consistently, like the small tweaks, because when I do transformations of clients, when I do that, like when I listen to them initially, what I realized was that these people only have small issues. Like if you fix that thing, because every single person, when it comes to being disciplined, what they lack is basically like doing one small thing wrong, and you just need to find what is wrong there, and you need to be consistent, like keep doing it like on a regular basis. So that way you will actually find discipline little by little, because discipline is not something you're going to have like within a day or like two. It takes like consistent effort and just keep doing it.
So it sounds like you're saying it's all comes down to doing a few small things every day and doing those things consistently. And that is how you will build your discipline. That's what you're talking
Yes.
about. What are your tips about helping people achieve their goals? What could be some practical advice that you could give about how to achieve their goals?
So basically, like I said before, like you need to have a passion towards your goal. Like when I started like online coaching, my passion was to actually help others. So let's say you're a person who wants to become a musician one day, right? So you need to learn how to play the guitar, or if you have a talent, you need to like keep on developing it. So just because you have a talent, like if you do not utilize it, like if you stay home and sleep on the couch, you're not going to become like what you want to become. Like you don't become an artist or like a person who's really where you want to be. But you got to consistently work hard towards it, like practice. So when you are having struggles or problems, one thing you need to do is just not focus on that problem. You need to focus on the solution all the time. So even if it was a time like the COVID first happened, it was actually a struggle. But if you actually only focused on the struggle, I don't think many would have survived. But one of the things my coach back in the day, like my business mentor back in the day, told me was this was an opportunity for you to become a beacon of light, give hope to people, because people will be looking at you because you are the coach. So when you are the coach, you are the person who needs to come up with the solution. So that way I came across virtual coaching and gave the solution to the people, and that way that actually helped people transform, and we got the best results during the pandemic
Wow,
than before the pandemic. We
that's
had a
amazing.
rate of like 90% of the clients transforming during the pandemic, because we were more occupied like helping people one-on-one. There were clients transforming from all around the world, practically like Canada, New Zealand, Dubai, and all around the world, Sri Lanka and everything. And it wasn't just in Australia, even though I'm based in Australia. So it doesn't like one thing people ask me when they actually make inquiries is like, where do you live? Where I live doesn't matter. Like there's technology right now and you can actually utilize it. So most of the time people struggle to see the resources which are right in front of you. My resource right back in the day was like the camera, and I actually utilized it to the max. And that way we actually got what we actually wanted to go get. So
Nice.
struggles, like I know it's gonna keep on happening and we are gonna have struggles, but it's about overcoming them on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think it's a very inspiring point you made. You said, struggles are going to happen even if you hit success. And you said, whether you're unsuccessful or not, the struggles are always going to be there. It's about looking for those opportunities. And in your case, the pandemic came as a struggle first, but then it created an opportunity which expanded your business to a next level. So I think that's a great idea to keep looking out for those opportunities that are presented right before you if you just keep looking. I think that's a great point. What tips would you give a person who's trying to start their own business or change their career path? What tips could you give?
One would be short answer would be, don't be afraid to think outside the box. Never be afraid. Like, even though it sounds really crazy, like my ideas were crazy back in the day, but right now that's what we are actually implementing. So even if it sounds crazy for another person, keep doing it. But even if you fail, that's okay. You'll learn and you will develop into becoming a better version. And you will develop by learning. Even if you fail, you will still learn through that. So just make sure, don't be afraid to think outside the box. So that's one advice I can actually give people. And when I first started online coaching, nobody knew what online coaching was. And because in this, most of the time, people were taught to become a lawyer or a doctor, but or something else, like what the society tells you to do. But if that's not what you want to become, you want to become something else. That's what you truly want to become in order for yourself to be fulfilled. I'm not saying financially or anything else, just mentally, every single other aspect in life. Do it, like, take a chance, because you only have one life and you got to make sure it counts.
Right, right. That's a great point. You mentioned you had mentors. You know, you found a few mentors, different stages in your life. For our audience, for those who are listening, who are also interested in doing their own business or finding their own path, how important would you say is it to have a mentor?
Yes, because you might end up having the right mindset, but end up going in the wrong direction. So that's where the mentor comes in. Like, that's where you need like guidance in order to get to the right direction. Because that's one thing I do as well. Because if I did not have the people or coaches to guide me towards that direction, doing it by myself wouldn't have made me get the results I could have gotten right now. Right? So I would say, like, they do play a big role in it. So you will always learn from other people. That's the way it's going to happen. Like, you will learn from your failures, you will learn from everywhere else, but will always need to learn from someone else for you to become better, because it's not going to be self-made all the time. You will have the influence of like positive people around you, inspiring people around you, and that'll actually become a big impact in your life in order to become better. My parents were my number one mentors, and I would like to be grateful for them for helping me get here. And number two would be the fact that in 2015, when I first competed, my coach back then was Guyan Pereira. So he's the person who actually made me a champion. I have to remind him. And he's the person who actually helped me to get to a level of a competitor. That's number two. And number three would be like Brian Mark, who actually made me like think outside the box when it came to my business. Like, when I came up with virtual coaching, and it's becoming the beacon of light. Because when you have people you will actually can look up to, like become an inspiration, you will actually take out the right meaning, I mean, what they tell you, and use it to your own life. It'll become better. So I've had like the privilege of having great mentors back in the day, and like still have mentors. And my currently working with another coach, and his name is Scotty Morale, and I'm looking forward to do my next competition as a pro athlete next year.
So that's great to hear. That's great to hear. So you're recommending is you can learn from other people rather than only your own mistakes. You can learn from people who have gone ahead of you and give you some
Yes.
course correction.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, that's a very important factor in your journey in order to become better.
Right, right. No, you have set yourself up a fantastic business. I have seen so many transformations. How could people get in touch with you if they want to get, fitness and training and get into a lifestyle transformation? What's the best way they can get in touch with you?
So they can get in touch with me through my Facebook account, which is Thilina Chandrapala, and also my Team Empire page on Facebook. And also they can actually contact me through my Instagram profile, which will be Thilina Pro Fitness, and also Team Empire Instagram page as well. So if you are interested, you can actually get in touch with me there, and we'll be able to like help you out.
I'll be putting the link on the description of this video for anyone who wants to seek Thilina's guidance and training and coaching for your lifestyle and your bodybuilding as well. So on that note, Thilina, I just want to say it's been fantastic having you on the show. It was so great to hear your stories. I know you just shared only bits and pieces of it. There's so many more interesting points to share more details, but I just want to say thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, Dimitri.
All right, Thilina, take care and talk to you soon. And have a great day.
You too. See you. Bye.
See you.